Hey there. I'm going to talk about the three main leading causes for early life expectancy among us on the spectrum and within neurodiversity, bipolar, ADHD, ADD, the dyslexia. It's a fight or flight that all of us can have, but I had it within autism and the ADHD, and the ADHD had gotten a lot better. So I'm going to talk about the three main reasons, though, that lead to our early death. Our life expectancy range is 39 to 59. That's before retirement on the spectrum. The UK is where I pull a lot of the statistics that I use. I'm 37, 39 to 59. But the three main causes are suicide. I talk about my experience in that area in the presentations, and I'll refer to it here and there. So I'll skip that one. I'm blessed to be on the side of not that. The other one that goes along with that is like epilepsy, seizures, epileptic, which then can lead to like brain aneurysms, overstrain. That leads to death. If you watch the first two parts of the neurosensitivity presentation I did, I kind of look like I might be having a seizure. You could say I almost look like it, but at 37 I am moving a lot slower than what that neuro is inside. Because if you get too focused and too mentally stimulated, like they study on us, what I find is that I lose the warning signs that I need before causing like a strain or nerve damage. So it's like shaking to death, or brain, or take your own life. But the one that we learned a lot from, that I want to talk about, that is pertaining to this, is the heart, the nervous system. What we've learned, what we've lived, what we've experienced, what our family histories may look like among on the spectrum. The heart, meaning a stroke by 59. With the stroke, now think about that. A stroke is your heart, but it is lack of oxygen. So when you look in your throat, your tongue comes back down. If there's not an open enough airway in here, that tongue will then, when our neuro raises, our heart rate goes with it. So in the recliner, that one good idea, and as we age, the heart gasps for that big old bulk of air, and it can't get it, and then that tongue, it slaps to the back to the throat. Stroke before retirement, with the air restriction. With that, warning signs. A child that does not latch is not normal. Sleeping with mouth open is not normal. Snoring, a child snoring, CPAP, that's not normal. If any of this you get lost in, I will refer to what I refer to anybody else to try and explain. The Breathe Institute. Google Breathe Institute. They have wonderful. That's where I've read, lived, and will talk about. For me, with autism and ADHD and PTSD, that fight or flight in any thought is not good. It's not good. If it's almost like you're having neuro and impulsive nervous system beyond control, and you're just grasping and fighting. Well, think about it. If you grabbed your neck right here and squeezed it just to the point where like your body starts to tingle, like your feet are falling asleep, I guess. Now resume life for 36 years. We treat that. Now we treat serotonin inhibitors, interrupters. We build all of our systems is regulated by how our neurostructure is. So if that goes fight or flight to the nervous, it's not good. It's not good. The heart, if that entire system is in alarm, then every thought, every noise, every sight, every distraction is that fight or flight. That tongue is restricting it. But once it's released, I tell you what, that first night, amazing sleep. But it wasn't until I was breathing correctly through the nose, the septum, that I got that full clarity and calmness, that full sleep and rest that allows me to utilize the focus and study and stuff. That presentation, the beginning 2 sections, only those 2, that's what it looks like for like us on the spectrum in a place with noises unheard, non-natural light, a space confined. I did it on purpose. I understand my neuro. Anyone that knows me knows it doesn't come close to the justice, shake, or energy I had prior to this stuff getting fixed. It's air, all air. My nervous system then goes calm. It pays attention in the timing. Wonderful. But just to give you an idea, anytime I present on the stage, no matter what, I have a AirPod in my left ear, and it is on not full, but near full of my favorite musicians, that hard rock musicians that I thank in my first video. But I still hear everything on the right. It's to tune out some of those sensitivities, to override one sensory with another, and just finding a way. Because we didn't know what we know now, I didn't have the ADA therapy and tools to escape and learn like my son did. It's what we have each figured out to make it this far. But most of us on the spectrum know there's many kids that drown on the spectrum, a lot that pass by 50. Air is one of the 3 I'm talking about in correlation. We can reduce the seizure and shake patterns, right? My heart rate went from at high neural energy from 160 beats per minute down to 120 beats per minute after the air. Now my resting heart rate, I trained, and my medical says I had a resting heart rate of between 45 and 50 with the air restriction. Now it's below 40. It doesn't pump. I don't feel it beating in my chest. I don't have nightmares of suffocation or any of that stuff that I refer to in my presentations. But now this is why taking a med for nerve strain is a hard pill for me as well, because it affects my heart rate. So with the nerve injuries and stuff, it drops it another 7 to 10 beats per minute if I take it routine days. But then there's the ADHD meds, right? They've been tearing apart our body because you've had to take them at the highest dosage because of that nervous system and alarm. I know, and others, I'm not alone on this, especially in my age group. With air, you get the ADHD meds, they do what they're supposed to. Being, if you need to be told what to do or follow or focus to whatever it is that's not stimulating your mind, now a bare minimum dosage, and you can get through those. I did that. The last 2 years since I had that change has reflected that. I have done that. And in that, I spent that time working towards full medical help with my physicians on accommodations for not only the sensory shift that took place when that nervous system calmed down and it kind of everything awakened, also my health and surgery history. Neuro pain. I don't know what others feel, but I had a nerve injury when I was in college. The last 20 years, I've woke up with my eyes seizuring. A headache that doesn't shake until I do what's been stretched. I put something around my neck and then I pull on certain areas at certain angles. That's what I've done for the last 20 years, and then I can see and I feel good and I'm ready to go about my day, take my meds. Now I awake because I had a re-injury to that C5 root and C6 root. It made matters worse. It crashed the spinal cord. So no, the narrowing of the entire spinal cord canal at C5 and C6. Neurosensitive, nerve sensitive. This is what we're talking about. Unfortunately, you see my left arm move out and hold things. That's about all that's left. If you look at a picture, you'll see I lost my bicep and my pec and the top of my arm. I wear a full shirt. And the 3 fingers, they come and go, and all outwards out. There's not really a fix. We're not going into the spinal cord to alleviate pressure. The right leg is my concern. It's kept at bay. I can do things. I got to tuck my toe and be in a certain spot to be able to move around and do things. But now I awake after the spinal cord injury. Both my eyes are rolled back. There's a ton of pressure and tension on them, and I can't see. So at what age, with that much strain, are the vessels weakened and lead to a brain aneurysm from that eye strain on the brain? But I will tell you, I wasn't born around a golf ball. That's a misconception. I got into it teenage years and then later. But it seems most retired men that I golf with for therapy, they golf for 2 reasons: heart health, core. It keeps my core. If I didn't have a strong core right now, more than likely the pressure on that spinal cord might have me in a bed for good. So, but also, not just the core, but for injuries. A lot of these people have injuries. Heart health, core health, and it doesn't harm. It's not an impact sport in any form. But left-handed quarterbacks that have like a destroyed left shoulder or an injury similar to what I had, that golf right-handed, because the nerve bundle can release the tension, and what we call flossing the nerves. I feel these things now. I didn't feel them before this. I feel them now. I'm feeling them every day. It's all of that has taught me a few things. But with the air, I don't just wait 5 minutes after my stretches and get up out of bed. Instead, I can feel that pressure as it releases. I can feel warnings that I didn't feel before where there was no warning. My medical histories of over a dozen surgeries shows that. It's like, due to this feeling, it's like living life with your body sleeping, tingling all over, and if you touch the skin, it like senses a zing. And then there's no safe limits after that until you've hit the bone. That's the best way I can explain it. But with all of these, this is why some of us have to present doctors with accommodations, understanding what we have. But I tend to stay locked in the UK medical journals, test banks, history of autopsies, because it's the autopsies that show us neuro with a smaller airway from the strokes that have led to our death in that 39 and 59 range. So if we release the tongue, but also the neuro to sight and hearing over there is, I feel comfortable reading it, I understand it. But I'm not political, I'm not me-based. We tend to just like the facts. Like it or not, we learn to just move past them. It's not like I wanted to hear my range of life expectancy was 39 to 59. That's not a pill I wanted to swallow. But hopefully with the correct air, calm neuro, therapy, and preventing further nerve injuries with the skin sense, but then it's nothing until it's too late, or nerve. That lack of air, fight or flight, that's gone. It does. But with that, digestion, blood sugar, all up and down, fight or flight. As the neuro would go up, nausea goes up. This lead to poor eating, the fight or flight. It's all gone. Didn't chew food, didn't digest it well, didn't do any of it very well. After this, I dropped 35 pounds. It's amazing how sleep, air, medications affect us all differently. So, suicide, check. Got that one. Avoid those people that cause you neuro and heart strain that could lead to unhealthy strain, seizures, or aneurysm. Read about the Breathe Institute. Find somebody local that provides those services. Pull the tongue out of the throat and the airway, and maybe we'll see past 59. That's what we have figured out, or that's what we hope, but based on the 3 leading contributing factors coming from stroke, suicide, and brain aneurysm or seizure. That's how I hope to continue to live my life. And for disability or anybody else in that neurodiversity world, the doctors working together, understanding, and then if needed, moving steps forward if any of it interrupts your daily life or causes that strain or these things, in seeking accommodations for what is needed in life. Not wanted, not benefits we want to use, what's needed. That's the autism perspective, and that's what I have lived for the air-oxygen difference. I will refer to it a lot moving forward, but I wanted to share what me and others have noticed and want to share with the world based on statistics. Thank you.